So now y'all come into my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. Glad that you're here. I have my friend Molly Mullis with me today.
Hi guys.
How are you?
I'm good.
I love that you're back.
I know. Thanks for having me back.
So Molly was here last fall, maybe late summer, fallish, and we made their oven and tap meatballs, and you called it sugo, but regular people call it red sauce. And we grilled bread, and we made beautiful homemade food because she is the sous chef at Oven and Tap in Bentonville on the Square. And they make everything really, really good and fresh and homemade and delicious. And so today we are going to make handmade pasta the real way. The roller, the flour.
The very authentic way. We kind of call it Nona's way. Like
Nona's
our
way. Like
Italian grandmother, the way she would do it.
Yes, isn't that so fun? So we are going to get going. Molly is going to take it away, and of course I'm just going to, sing along on the side. I'm color commentary. You're play-by-play.
Yeah, exactly. So in the mixer we have 00 flour, which is a super fine Italian flour, and then Durham flour, a little bit of both.
What's Durham?
So Durham is a type of wheat. It's a little bit sturdier. They take off the outside part of the grain, and it's got this like beautiful yellowy color. It adds a little bit more structure to the flour. And then 00 is super, super fine, hence 00. That's the grade which they mill the flour. And it's going to add this kind of silky, velvety texture to it.
It is so fine.
Yeah, it's super fine. I mean, it feels really good, when you touch it. And it's decadent, but you can always use, at the restaurant at Oven and Tap, we use this combination of 00 and Durham flour, but you can always use all-purpose flour as well.
Would you do anything special? Go ahead if you need to start going, and then I'm going to ask you a question.
So what I like to do just is go ahead and get the mixer turned on and kind of let the two different kinds of flour be incorporated. And then what we've got here are some fresh Sarah Jane farm eggs that we've separated. This is just the yolks, and this is 10 yolks. So I'm going to slowly start to incorporate my egg yolks to my flour because we just really want to make sure that the flour gets really hydrated.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Go ahead. If you are starting to be able to find 00 flour in your regular grocery stores, where I used to have to buy it online, and of course they buy it in bulk, but it was very hard to find. There are some local groceries that you can actually start finding 00 flour if you decided that you wanted to use it. So if you don't use 00 and you use all-purpose, is there anything that you need to do to all-purpose? Like, would you run it through a sifter? Would you?
No, it'll be fine. So the reason why we use 00 is because it has a higher protein content, which is going to make for a better pasta. It's going to allow the glutens to form. It's going to be a little bit more elastic.
It's a science. This is a science to getting the right texture.
Yeah, it really is, but the way I cook is kind of by feeling and look and instinct. So, I say the same thing for an at-home cook. Just go by what you feel comfortable with, how, what you know how to do in your kitchen. So I've incorporated the first third of the yolks into the mixer, and it kind of starts to look like a little bit like pie crust. We're starting to get pea forms. So I'm going to go ahead and add the next third.
Do these need to be room temperature? Does it matter?
Room temperature is probably best.
Okay. I cracked those eggs, y'all. They're beautiful. Oh, look. Look at these. I'll just grab them really quick. Look how beautiful these are.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the color. Aren't they so precious? These are local eggs. Oh, I just love them. Love them.
So it's kind of starting to come together a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and add my next and my last third of yolks. And one thing that I kind of do is put a little water in there to get all of it out and add that in.
Oh, like what is that, about a quarter of a cup? Is that too much? A couple tablespoons?
Perfect.
Okay, so I took a pasta class when we were in Chicago. And one of the things that we were talking about is, your Nona.
Yeah, Nona.
Probably would make this on the counter, and you actually make like your flour right on the counter, and you make a little well in the center, and then you drop your eggs in, and then little bit by little bit, you've probably seen this if you watch, food documentaries or Food Network, but they kind of grab a little
mix it
flour in,
together,
they mix it in like this until it forms on the, on the counter. It's a mess.
Oh, it is a
Because
huge
when I
mess.
decided I was going to be a homemade pasta maker, and that was the method that I learned, I thought, nope, never mind. That's way too much flour for me all over my kitchen. So when Molly said, oh, I mixed mine in the mixer, I was like, shout hallelujah, because it is, flour goes everywhere.
Okay, so this is starting to come together.
Okay.
I ended up needing a couple more yolks.
Oh, yes.
And the thing with this is that these fresh eggs have different size yolks, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly how many you'll need. What we're gonna do
You want to show us the texture? Can we look at the
Yeah.
texture so they can see?
is we're gonna kind of just bring this together with our hands.
That's so pretty.
And we're gonna knead it into a little ball and then form it into a disc.
Yes.
And let it rest
Wrap.
before we roll it again.
Do we wrap it in plastic wrap
Yep, so
while
we're
it
wrapping
rests?
in plastic wrap. So this is what it's gonna kind of look like right now. So
Perfect. And it's kind of like pie crust at
It
this point.
is.
Kind of roll it, pull it out,
Yep.
put it together, and knead it for just a second till it comes together, wrap it, and let it rest. So we're going to do that with this.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. When we come back, we're going to roll it out. I can't wait for you to see. This is fun. Woo! This is cooking today. Hi, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. I've got my friend Molly Mullis in the kitchen from
Hi,
Oven and
guys.
Tap, and you're the sous chef.
yes.
And in the first segment, she has made beautiful homemade pasta. And I don't think that we even said it officially, but we're making,
our mushroom ragu lasagna.
y'all, it's my all-time favorite thing. It's what I get every time that I go there. It's so good. You want to tell them kind of what's in it?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the back of the stove, we have got some bechamel kind of simmering down, which is like a white sauce. And then we also made a mushroom ragu,
Yeah.
which is shiitake mushrooms cooked down with like aromatics, wine, a little celery and onion. It's delicious.
And then we do hit it a little bit with cream. right?
Yeah,
Just a
yeah.
little bit
There's
at
like
the
some
end.
really decadent cream in there, and then we also have some fresh mozzarella that we're gonna use to build the lasagna.
Oh my goodness, it is so good. Okay, so Molly has to do all the hard work, like all of this elbow grease. It's a lot of work.
So what we did in the last segment
Yep.
is we went ahead and made the lasagna, and then we pulled it, or I'm sorry, the pasta dough, and then we pulled it out, and we formed it, kneaded it a little bit, and formed it into a disc, and wrapped it, and then let it sit for like 30 minutes. We really want this pasta kind of relax and chill out a little bit so that it'll make it easier, thank you ma'am, make it easier to roll. In the meantime, we went ahead and rolled some. I made 2 balls of pasta, rolled some out for Amy, and Amy is gonna go ahead and start.
We'll blanch them.
Right, we're gonna
And I'll
go-
tell you one of my favorite things about it, I'm going to interrupt you, is that it's just a fun dining experience for me. It's just one of those little tiny details that I love.
Yeah.
That like when we cut these sheets, she fit it for the whole entire sheet to go in my pan. So, when we buy, like home cooks buy store-bought lasagna, we buy it in those little roughly skinny pieces.
Right.
But this is fun because it's the whole entire sheet that goes on your sheet pan, and I just think that is such a fun thing.
Well, and it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, into
instead
your
of having
pan.
to have
You're
10
right.
noodles.
So that's what I
you've got-
have. So if you're thinking, those don't look like my lasagna noodles, this is a different way to do it where you actually just cut it the entire size of your pan. So I'm going to blanch.
Yep. Amy's gonna start blanching, so we've got a pot of boiling water back here that's super salty.
Super salty.
We say salty as the sea in the restaurant, because this is your opportunity to season those pasta noodles, since we didn't use any salt in the dough.
Well, you're putting flavor in it. I mean,
Right.
it's getting in there.
Right. So then she's going to shock them in the ice bath next to it. So that's gonna stop the cooking
Got
process.
this. An ice bath is just basically a big bowl with a ton of water in it. And how long do I cook the noodles each?
You're gonna cook
Blanch
the
them?
noodles for about a minute, minute and a half. And
Okay.
it's really gonna be by feel, when you start to notice that they're cooking and
Okay.
they're done. So what I'm doing is I've rolled this out to kind of a rectangle, whatever I'm gonna use, I want it to fit into the mouth of my pasta machine here. And I'm gonna start on a tin and work my way down. So Amy and I had kind of talked about this. Amy has a different machine with a hand crank on it. And her
The
numbers.
not fancy version.
This is the restaurant.
Yes.
So her numbers go in the opposite direction. So just
Yes.
really like pay attention to your machine.
Yeah, mine starts at 1 and goes to a 7, and yours goes
Right.
from a 10 to a 1.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So basically what we're doing right now is laminating the dough.
What does that mean?
We're just kind of building gluten and protein and structure. This is gonna make it really strong so that when you're over there blanching your noodles.
And worrying sick that I'm gonna tear one in half or.
Really, the chances are very, very, very slim.
It feels thick and hearty.
Yeah, they are. I mean,
Okay, let me ask
helps.
you this, because while you laminate and roll.
Right.
So, should you or should you not put oil in your water?
No, I don't put oil in my water.
Okay, why not? You don't need it?
No, yeah, you really don't need it. I mean, this dough is so strong that you're really not gonna run into any issues of these noodles sticking together.
Okay.
And if they do, on the off chance stick together, then you just kind of roll with it. I mean,
Because you can ultimately, like I've just done this one for about a minute. I'm gonna stick it over here in this ice bath and let it cool down. But can't you ultimately just kind of open it back up with your fingers and just kind of not patch it together, but
yeah.
covered in mushrooms? Who's gonna know?
No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know.
It's all gonna taste good, right?
Right. So I worked this on the first roll down to a 4. I just kind of inched my way down 1 or 1.5 each time. And then I did an accordion fold, so I folded it in on itself. And now I'm sending it back through. We're gonna do 3 rounds of rolling.
It is so fascinating to me to watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I really enjoy it. This is one of my favorite things to do in the restaurant.
Is it therapeutic for you?
Yes.
It's probably therapeutic.
It's very therapeutic.
Because you're good at it. It is not therapeutic to me. It is the kind of thing that makes me so anxious. And when Sam and I have taken it, like we've taken cooking classes in Chicago and Savannah and Boston or wherever that we go, we like to take a class, and we always find ourselves in some kind of a pasta making class thinking it's going to be fun. It's a
lot of work, but once you learn how to do it and you get comfortable doing it, just like anything else with cooking, it's fun.
And when it works, you're so proud.
Right.
You're so proud. Look how beautiful that is.
Okay, so we did our accordion fold, and then we're working our way down to the 4 again here.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a book fold. That's what we call it in the restaurant. It's not really a book fold, but basically we're gonna fold it on itself and then change the direction in which we put the pasta into the machine and roll it again.
Perfect.
Roll it down to like a 1.
So you're just gonna fold it on itself and then keep on going until it's nice and thin.
Yep, exactly.
And I've blanched these and they're in the water getting nice and cool. And then when we come back, Molly's gonna keep rolling this. It takes a little while. We're gonna cut down some more sheets and build a beautiful mushroom lasagna. This is cooking today. Hi, welcome back. We have made our pasta sheets. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
Lasagna sheets,
Yeah.
pasta sheets.
Yeah, pasta sheets.
And then Molly rolled.
Yep.
I
blanched
and then dropped them in an ice bath. And then Molly, after they've cooled, has laid them out on a sheet pan with a little olive oil in the middle so that they don't stick.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I told you this is my favorite dish to get at Oven and Tap. And the mushroom ragu is part of the reason why, and we've got some really great other ingredients, and Molly's going to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we always do like a vegetarian lasagna. You can add meatballs at the restaurant, which I think is outstanding. But I love like a good vegetarian lasagna where the mushrooms are showcased. So
let me interrupt.
Yeah.
I don't eat vegetarian. Y'all know that, and I've never in my life missed a piece of meat in this. It is so good.
And mushrooms are pretty meaty.
They're hearty.
So they kind of act as a meat anyway.
I can eat that with a spoon.
Yeah, it's pretty yummy. So we just made a simple ragu here. We did onions and celery and roasted some local shiitake mushrooms, stewed them down with some herbs and some aromatics, added a little bit of stock, let that continue to stew. And then at the end, we hit it with a little bit of heavy cream.
Because why not?
Because it makes everything better.
Heavy cream makes everything better. So.
Yes. So on top of heavy cream, we also have a bechamel, which is kind of like a white gravy in the South. We cook some butter and flour out. We want to cook it until the flour
made like a really thick, pasty roux.
Yes, exactly. So you can't taste the flour anymore. And then we just added milk and let that thicken up. And I seasoned it with a little bit of salt and grana.
I said parm earlier, and it's a totally different thing.
Well,
it's a different thing from a different region.
Right. So Parmesan or
Grana.
Thank you. Grana.
I know my cheese.
Yeah, Grana comes from a different region than Parmesan. And that's what we use at the restaurant. It's very, very, very similar to Parmesan. So we're gonna go ahead and start building our lasagna. We've got a casserole dish here, and then we've oiled it with olive oil. And then I'm gonna layer in the sheets.
Those pretty sheets. Oh my goodness, I just love the one sheet.
I know, it's so nice.
It's like making a bed.
It is, it is. And Amy's gonna drizzle on some of the bechamel.
Making a bed. Did you say drizzle or what? What
Yeah,
am I
just
doing?
kind of like layer it here on the bottom.
You know, I'm gonna tend to go way heavy.
Yeah, go ahead. And then Amy's doing exactly what I would do. I would put it into several spots and then I would spread it out. She's perfect, she's natural at building lasagnas.
I'm not a natural, but
okay,
made
so
some cream
then
sauce. All right.
we're going to layer in our mushrooms and just
Y'all,
kind of,
if you could smell that pan of mushrooms, you would just, I mean, my mouth is watering and I'm kind of wishing nobody was looking and I could just get a spoon.
so yes, it's delicious.
delicious.
So Luke, the chef at Oven and Tap, and my
Yes.
partner, really is the one who taught me how to make pasta.
Mm.
He's a big part of my pasta knowledge. And one thing he always tells me when we're building lasagna is make sure you get your corners. Like you don't want to be the
You're
person
right, you're right,
who
he's
gets the
right.
corner piece
Yes.
and it has nothing in it.
And then how does Luke know how to make pasta?
Luke worked in San Francisco at a restaurant called Chez Panisse, and that's kind of where he got his love for fresh food and fresh handmade pasta. So I'm really fortunate to have a mentor like him. So now Amy's
Am I doing it enough?
You're doing perfect. I
You
mean,
know,
I
I
think
would-
the more the merrier,
I was
honestly.
going to say, I'm inclined to cover all
Yeah.
the surface
Oh, yeah.
in the cheese. Don't y'all want cheesy, yummy lasagna?
So Amy's
What do you
gonna
think?
layer it perfect. Layer in fresh mozzarella. You can do, any cheese that you love here, you should do. We just get big chunks of fresh mozzarella at the restaurant and then go ahead and with the bechamel,
Okay.
season it, chop it up. So we're gonna do,
Season it.
Yeah.
So you salted it.
yeah,
You
I mean, we
salted the
salt
mozz.
everything. We salted the ice water, we salt the water, everything.
It just tastes good, and it brings out all the best flavors of
Yeah,
all the food.
it does. So
Oh,
we're
I gotta
gonna
get to
keep.
the corners, Luke's.
Yeah, we
gotta
gotta
get to
we
the
gotta
corners.
listen to Luke's rule.
Okay, so once we layer all of this, what's our top layer supposed to be?
We're gonna just do
Is it a pasta
bechamel
sheet? Oh.
and more ragu. I mean, it's gonna look the exact same.
Okay.
I mean, I
and
think
you end
that's-
on what layer?
You end on the fourth layer.
Which is a layer of pasta and then just bechamel.
Yeah. And a
Okay.
little bit of cheese. So you get that like really caramely, beautiful crust. And if we have leftover ragu, we can put a little ragu on there. Doesn't matter. However you like it, how your family likes to eat
And
it.
then, how long does this bake, would you say? Because
Well,
it's all basically
Yeah, so
cooked.
everything we have here is fresh. It's warm, it's hot, we just cooked it all. So it's gonna take 10, 15 minutes.
Because we just kind of want to what? Melt
Yeah, we
it
just
all
want to melt the
together
cheese.
and
Yeah.
get a pretty color
Essentially,
on the top?
is we're just melting the cheese. So probably 10 or 15 minutes on a high oven, maybe 425, whatever you feel comfortable with, or you can throw it in under the broiler, whatever works.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
What if we wanted to assemble this right now and then, we wanted to like refrigerate it or freeze
Yeah,
it or something like that?
Absolutely.
Can you do that at this point?
Yes, what I would do is assemble. We can make this our last layer. So bechamel and cheese. Assemble, let all the ingredients cool.
To room temperature?
Wrap it really well, and then throw it in the freezer and cook it
Can you
later.
even believe that? Y'all, you really got to try it. It's so, so good. Okay, we are going to stick this in the oven and let it brown up and melt and look delicious. When we come back, we're going to cut into it and eat. I can't wait. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome back. We are just wrapping up this beautiful homemade lasagna. What do you call it? Like a mushroom?
Yeah, mushroom lasagna.
Mushroom
is what we call
lasagna. It smells fantastic. Molly's taught us how to make homemade pasta sheets and roll them. You want to do
Yeah.
the really quick recap
Yeah,
of it?
so we made homemade pasta with some flour and egg yolks, and then we let it rest, and then we rolled it through the pasta machine and cut it into perfect little segments. Amy was wonderful and blanched and shocked the noodles.
I wasn't that wonderful. I got worried.
No. They were. I mean, look, they were all.
But it
perfect.
works.
All 5 of them were perfect. And in the meantime, we made a mushroom ragu and a bechamel, and we were able to quickly build this lasagna. And honestly, not a lie, it took us
10 minutes to heat this
It really
through.
did. And so then, just to get an extra little bit of color on the top, we just loaded up the broiler and just for a second to get a little color.
Yeah.
And then what do you do to top it off?
So I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of fresh herbs.
like,
This is
look.
just some parsley. And then we're gonna do a little grana again that we love so much.
That's so beautiful. And then at the restaurant, you would just serve it with
Yeah.
a little bit of dressed arugula on the side,
Yeah,
lemon,
lemon, olive oil, salt,
and pepper,
super
maybe?
simple. And then, I mean, that's it. The lasagna is really the star of the show.
Y'all, look at this. It smells fantastic. It's hearty, it's cheesy. We're gonna let it sit a little bit and then cut it. We're gonna enjoy it. I hope that you will try this recipe at home and love every bite. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so
I
much for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Come back.
I
Let's do
appreciate
again.
it, yes.
This is Cooking Today.